Hello wonderful people and welcome back to Warcraft 2. We are going to be having another tutorial. This tutorial is the second in the series and I'm going to show you the 2 racks rush. So if you haven't seen yet the 1 racks make peons build order, which is the first one, I highly recommend you do. And once you had fun with that build order and tried to keep up with your host production and buildings production and basically learned all the basics of the basic speed, basically got that mechanics into your in your hands, once you're comfortable making peons, this is the tutorial you want to look for, because against another player, against a stronger player than you, this is the build order I recommend for new players, because it will allow you to fight very strongly in the early game and at the cost of your late mid-game potential. Of course, there is always a trade, but it will give you a very powerful power spike in the early game, and this is the stage of the game where new players tend to perform better, because the longer the game goes, the harder it will be against a stronger opponent. So I will show you basically how it goes. Let's do it. So basically this tutorial I will stop making peons for my hole, because we are basically cutting that production so that we get more power earlier, but there is a drawback to it. If you don't find your opponent or you can't damage your opponent early game, you are basically falling behind, because you stopped making peons and your opponent might not have. So he might have way more economic strength than you do, since he will not cut his peons, potentially. This build order is usually very good on maps that are very open and where you can't close your base easily, because you're gonna have a lot of grunts on the map, and these grunts can get in your opponent base and kill them if their base is open. If their base is closed, I will recommend you make a lumber mill and catapults. You have to do damage with that build early game, otherwise you lose, because you cut on your peon production here, and it will cost in the long run. So after our hole is built, we're going to be building a farm just like before. We built our hole 3 tiles away from the gold mine, just like before as well. And so far nothing new. Actually, for the whole first part of that tutorial, this is basically the same. You control group your hole to a 0, so you do use the right control key of your keyboard and the 0 key, and you do that. You can have your whole control group like this, and you can do 0p as soon as your farm is built. The first peon builds the first farm and then builds the racks. So as soon as this farm is going to be built, I'm going to use my peon, click him down, make him build the racks. Afterwards I have produced my second peon. Here we go, we build the racks. Crazy! Second peon is Bob. We already know Bob from the previous tutorial. He's gonna be building farms the whole game. At least for the whole beginning of the game for that build. Third peon builds a blacksmith. And the fourth peon is gonna build the second racks. As soon as my racks is finished, I will be making equipments from it. You want to keep making peons from your hole as much as possible. You're not stopping your peon production just yet, because you want to have at least 10 to 11 peons at best. If you can really make 11, that's great. I just started my upgrade here, of course. And like I said, as soon as my second hole, my second racks is built, I will stop making peons because I need to be able to produce as much footmans as possible, as fast as possible. That was my last peon right there. And like I said, you want to prioritize your footman over everything else. And you're producing as many footmans. See, I'm barely keeping up here. The resources are flowing in a little bit. Catching up with the two thing. There we go. Now we can do it. And now you're gonna look for your opponent to kill him. You can stop making farms for a while. 25 is the recommended to stop making farms, but oh, we found him. So obviously it's the AI, so it doesn't know how to produce units. Doesn't know how to do much things anyway. So you can see the only thing that I need to keep producing from is the racks. That is the most important thing. If you can get 12 peons, that's better. But you do that at the cost of something else, right? See, I have to idle my racks a little bit to do that. But it's fine if you're not fighting, if you have a struggle to find your opponent, or if your drunks, footmans are not dying. Basically, you have the range to do it. You get the idea. So we basically won there, but yeah. That was the second build order. It's very simple, it's very, very brutal. Your goal is to find your opponent as fast as possible and try to, if not kill them, damage them, kill buildings from them, find weakness in their walls and pressure these weaknesses. Basically, your goal here is to do as much damage as possible, as early as possible. Strong players will know how to counter this, they will know how to play against this and around this, but weaker player probably will not. So yeah, try to focus on this build. Once you start winning a lot of games like this, go back to the first build order and try to get to a mid-late game that is strong. But yeah, for new players that want to start winning games against players that are stronger, when games becomes too difficult for you, I recommend you back to this build order. It's very simple, it's powerful, it works. Even for great players, sometimes we do it. It's a all-around very strong early game build order. It has games where it's good and games where it's not that good, but like everything, you know, it's up to you to decide if it's worth trying or not on different maps. I would not recommend it on the map like All You Need. On All You Need, I will recommend you go for the first build order I showed you. But on a map like GSEPs, like this one for example, it's a perfect build order for that. If your enemy is walled in, just add a lumber mill. You know, if like I find a wall and I can't go through, I won't be forcing it with my footmen. I will make them, you know, fall back, and I will make catapults or ballistas in that case. The lumber mill is never a bad addition, and if you start to see that basically you gain an advantage, it's time to start reproducing from your hole again, and to, you know, make sure that hole is never idle if it doesn't need to be. So then it becomes, then we are, you know, back to the first build order. You have to make sure that that hole is never idle unless it really needs to be. It's always, basically that's always the drawback. You always have to keep in mind a hole is supposed to be producing all the time unless you have a good reason for it not to be producing. For us, that good reason was that we wanted to make more grounds that our opponent can possibly have by not stopping making peons. That was the idea behind we stopped making peons, right? But if we are not stopping right now, see, it's a bad thing. It's because I'm not making farms. But anyway, that build is finished. The PC is dead. I don't know what is going on. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, GG. I hope to see you soon on the GOG server with us. We play every single weekend. If you are a beginner, you're gonna be more than welcome to, just hang out and have fun with us and even play some games and maybe get better and, whatever. If you're very strong at the game already, then I don't know why the heck you're looking at 2 React build order, but I guess it's, it's good reminder, I guess. It's a very simple build order that everybody should know already, but if you don't, then I'm glad I taught you something. See you then on the GOD server next weekend, maybe? I mean, every weekend we are online, so see you there.
You buy retail version or I'll chop you into little bits.